Hey y'all, my name's Jordy, and today we'll be going over Prot Paladin tanking in Season of Discovery. Now, full disclosure, none of the information I'm giving y'all is any of my original thoughts. These are all thoughts theory crafted in the Paladin Discord and by the legend himself, Walter. I will put a link to that Discord in the description below. If you pause this video right now, just go to that Discord and didn't watch the rest of this, I would not care. I just want this information to get out to you one way or another. And to save y'all time, instead of asking questions, find the SOD theory crafting for Prot Paladin and check the pinned messages and you'll get all the information there. So the first thing I want to talk about are the specs that we're playing right now. The cool thing about this is there's not one particular spec you have to play to be a viable tank in Season of Discovery, which I think is pretty cool because we're not forced into a meta right now. The three specs that we're using that I've seen to be the best are a Holy Ret spec, a spec I used while leveling up and dungeoning, a full Prot spec, that's the only spec I have not played yet, and the Ret two-hand tank spec. Now, full disclosure, if you want to go full red and still sword and board, you can. You can just do some amazing damage and still be a tank with a two-hander as well. Each of these specs have their own pros and cons, but don't let anyone tell you that it's a bad spec. There are no bad specs. There have been some stuff going around that Holy is bad. It is not. It works. You can definitely do it. People have said they've cleared BFD 7 out of 7 while doing it, but there are some cons when you play that spec. The pros, though, is that you get Consecrate, which is huge for AoE pulls, especially while dungeoning. If you watch what I'm doing right now in Dead Mines, I'm pulling a large group, blasting Consecrate, blasting Divine Storm, and just amazing AoE damage and threat. I am not even running Hand of Reckoning, you can see that, and I'm still holding all my threat. Even on bosses like Van Cleef, you can see right here, I'm holding some pretty good threat. I don't need Hand of Reckoning for that. You just need Righteous Fury to hold your threat. The cons, though, is the major con is that you are starved for mana after that initial pull of all your cooldowns. Now, I found it actually pretty fun to think about what my next move had to be. Like, it made your next choice very meaningful. It's just not as easy when you don't have that mana. It also makes having Crusader Strike even better because it generates mana for you. So if you really like that playstyle of what am I going to do next, it has to be important, then you'll really like playing Holy. Another con is that it is the worst off spec for when you want to go red. And what I mean by that is that all your talents are not DPS talents. Right here is the Holy talent tree. You go 5 out of 5 for Divine Strength, 5 out of 5 improved Seal of Righteousness. That's the seal you'll be using in the spec. 1 for Consecration, and then going all the way over to the red spec for Benediction to reduce the mana cost of your Judgment and Seal spells by 15%. I will also put a link to these talent trees in the description below. The next spec we're talking about is the full protection spec. I'm going to talk the least about this one because I have not run this one yet, but you get improved Righteous Fury, which makes your threat just really, really good. You get Blessing of Kings. You get Precision, which really goes well for your off spec too. And then you put 4 out of 5 into Toughness and 5 out of 5 into Improved Devo Aura. It's a really good mitigation spec. This next spec is the best spec. It is our Retribution two-hand tanking spec. You can also sword and board spec this as well. It's just fine. You get a lot of great talents here. You get Seal of Command, which we'll use. You get Pursuit of Justice. That 8% speed is significant, especially around the world. Remember, this is your best off-spec performance because you still get to be a Retribution Paladin. We go 5 points into Benediction, 3 out of 5 into Deflection, 2 for Improved Judgment, and 3 out of 5 for Conviction. This is the spec that I'm running right now. As you can see, here's me running SFK. And here's the thing, guys, when you're doing dungeons, you do not need Hand of Reckoning. I know the talent said to use Hand of Reckoning rune. You can use your Crusader Strike. You will not need that in dungeons. Even in Black Fathom Deeps, as you can see right now, I'm not running Hand of Reckoning. I'm still using Crusader Strike and I'm still holding aggro as an off tank. Throughout most of that raid, if you're an off tank, you only need Hand of Reckoning for bosses like Gamura, Kelleris, or Akamai if you're doing that strat, then need a taunt swap. Talking about runes, the runes you'll always use for your chest is Divine Storm. It's just great AoE, it's good damage, you get healing when you use it. It's the rune you'll always take for chest. For your legs, we actually have some variety here. You can use Avenger Shield, which will be your default, But if you ever need a kick, like on Kelleris, if you're short kickers, or if you're having, the healers in BFD heal a lot because we don't have enough kickers, you will want to go at Rebuke. It's not going to cost a lot of threat not having Avenger shield. For your hands, if you're off tanking, Crusader Strike is good, and if you need a taunt swap, go with Hand of Reckoning. If you feel like you're getting actually chunked pretty hard, go with Hand of Reckoning because you get that nice damage reduction when you're below 35% health. Aegis, it looks like a tank rune, it smells like a tank rune, it is not a good rune. Do not use this, you don't need to use this, ignore this, pretend it's not there, we will not use this. Make sure you're kind of mixing the stats you're getting around. Remember, we are not like Wrath of the Lich King Paladins where strength is our king. Try and get some gear that has intellect on it or spirit on it for that mana regen. We do need mana. Even playing red spec, I find myself getting mana starved way sooner than I'd want to. So having some intellect and spirit on your gear is not a bad thing. When considering your BIS weapons, you want to go for slow. That goes for both one-handers and two-handers. Which means that the one-hand tank weapon they put in the dungeon is really not that good for us because it's a 1.3 weapon speed. We don't like that. Unfortunately, we want to compete with our DPS players for that Hone Darkwater Talwar. That will be our BIS. You could get this as well. It's just not as good damage. This is going to be our BIS one-hander from the raid. But Protector Sword is also really strong. It has stats on it with stamina. This is probably our overall BIS, is getting this sword at Revered with Silverwing Sentinels. As far as professions go, mining and blacksmithing are really good options for us as we can craft a lot of our pre-BIS gear, like the silvered bronze boots, the silvered bronze gauntlets. The green iron boots and the green iron gauntlets are also good options. And we get to make this big one right here, the shining silver breastplate. What I'm going to say next is a pretty decent spoiler for Season of Discovery, so if you want to skip that and kind of learn it on your own, I'll give you about 5 seconds to do that right now. So this actually can be converted into epic crafting gear. I have not discovered how to do that yet. I was told some stuff about it. I kind of want to learn on my own. I've seen people with it, but that does help because that is obviously going to be our BIS. All right, lastly, at the end of this video, I want to go over some tips and tricks that might help you when you're prop paladin tanking. If you decide to go the red spec and go two-handed and sword and board, there's a macro where you can throw your Avenger shield and then immediately swap to your two-hander. And I'll put a link to that macro in the description below. Make sure you do your Pally quest chain level 20 for Varigan's Fist. This is an amazing pre-BIS weapon. You will have this for a long time until Fathomblade or the epic two-hander. Do this quest chain as soon as you possibly can. Next, make sure you do stockades and do the quest chain from Dead Mines all the way through stockades to get Seal of Rin. Everyone's doing this right now. You'll have people help you. The mobs get to level 32. You'll have a lot of people helping you out. Get this quest done. This ring is amazing. Next, get honored with the Silverwing Sentinels. You can get that rep through the Ashenvale PvP event, and you can get a little rep with that with Warsong Gulchwinds. At Friendly, you get this rune. At Honored, you get a nice neck. And at Revered, you get a really nice one-hand sword, the Protector Sword. That is one of your BIS one-hand sword options. There's a really nice quest chain in Duskwood where you can get this Spark Metal Coif, item level 33, which is actually higher item level than the gear in BFD. It starts with Sven all the way on the left side of the map. You have to fight some level 28 mobs in Duskwood, then some level 29, 28 mobs in the Wetlands, and then eventually a level 32 mob with 2 level 28s around him. So find some other mail wearers who want to get this helm with you. A lot of people are doing it right now, so it shouldn't be that hard to do. It looks like a long chain. It's not. A lot of it's turning ins and talking. There's only 3 parts, like I said, where you actually have to kill some mobs for items or for quest objectives. And I think that's it, guys. If you like what you watch, give a like, give a subscribe for some more content posted in the future. If you see something that I'm totally wrong in saying, leave a comment below, make a discussion below. Just be respectful about it. Again, I just wanted to share this info out to everybody to make your life easier if you can't find information on being a prop paladin. Don't forget to check out all the links below to help you out. Join the Paladin Discord. And thanks for stopping by, y'all. Thanks for saying hi. And I'll see y'all next time.